When we look at all the point guards who are 6'3" and under that have ever made the All-Star team, pretty much all of them are rangy shooters that primarily lean on the outside threat to pull out the defense, which then opens up the rest of their game. But when looking at how Jalen Brunson approaches the game, there's definitely something different happening. Now, Jalen Brunson is a stocky 6'2", 190-pound guard who has a really low center of gravity with the ball, which allows him to effectively get underneath taller defenders and carve out driving angles. You'll see him here get matched up with the taller and more lengthy Keontae George, and watch how easily Brunson moves him off his spot to then rip over the help side and get to this push shot towards the middle. Now you'll see him isolating against Terry Rozier in the mid post, and watch how Jalen drives his shoulder into Terry's body to then turn back towards the middle and get the and one.
Point game, you thought, oh, that was the best game of the week.
When attacking into space, Brunson loves to seek out contact, and he's elite at both initiating and absorbing bumps on drives. And that physicality also extends out to the perimeter. If Brunson gets the defense on his hip, there's absolutely no chance of pushing him off his driving line. Right here, Brunson's not going to do anything super advanced off the dribble. He's just going to simply pick a shoulder and bulldoze his way downhill into a drive. Then he's going to shuck off this defender and rise up for a short push shot. And Jalen also likes to use that strength to attack right through aggressive defensive coverages. You'll see the Heat here have Tyler Hero come up and aggressively show at Brunson with the ball, but watch how easily he attacks through Hero's frame and gets him to open up. Then, as Jalen starts coming downhill, you'll see Jimmy Butler scramble across and get on his hip. But again, that low center of gravity allows Jalen to keep his balance and work his way into a finish. We can see the same thing here, where the Heat now have Duncan Robinson step up and show, and again, notice how easily Jalen attacks through his frame to create a wide open driving lane. Then when weak side help steps up, Jalen is going to gather the ball off his right foot, then step across into this left-right Euro step. And Jalen also likes to use that physicality to stride and step his way through contact. He loves using this low pickup, where Jalen pounds the ball with his left hand and plants his outside foot, to then get to this low pickup off his next step, and extend out into a finish with his next two steps.
Foul shot is up, count it, and one!
You'll see him use the exact same move here, where Jalen again pounds the ball and plants his left foot, to then cut back the angle towards his right with this low pickup. Now, I think it's the perfect time to move on and go over what I think is the best part of Brunson's scoring, which is going to be his floater game. Statistically, Jalen scores more points with these runners than anybody else across the league, while also being the most efficient. And what I think makes Jalen so effective with these shots is that he has countless of different ways to set these looks up. Now first, Brunson can obviously use his strength to navigate to spots, to then rise up for these stable 2-foot floaters. And Jalen also has a really good feel of spacing on the court. You'll see him here get the mismatch against Claxton, and instead of attacking his body and forcing his way into the deep paint, Brunson is going to patiently wait for this help defender to move off the nail. Then he's going to simply take a dribble into open space and rise up into this 2-foot floater. Now Brunson's also really good at creating runners off of 1 foot, and this is again where everything comes back to his stability and body control. You'll see him here pick up a head of steam, to then initiate contact with his inside shoulder, and watch how he's able to quickly decelerate with his next 2 steps, giving himself a window to elevate while the defense is being pulled backwards. You'll see him use that same deceleration here, where Jalen's now going to refuse the screen, and as he starts coming downhill, notice how he sinks all his weight into his right foot, to again elevate up for a floater, while the defense's momentum is being pulled backwards. And then on top of that deceleration, Jalen also has the ability to create floaters by quickly exploding up and over the defense. you'll see him here turn the corner off the screen. And notice how he lifts Embiid out of his stance by slowing down and putting his eyes on the rim. Then he's gonna drop down into this drive, which now gets Embiid all off balance, giving Jalen a window to rise up and over him for this floater. Now, when we extend out and look at Brunson's mid-range scoring, we have to come back to his strength and body control with the ball. Jalen loves to play physical in order to navigate to spots and create these short pull-ups. And pretty much all his separation moves involve him initiating contact. You'll see him here create space with a step back, but notice how he puts all his weight into the defense's chest and hops back to separate for his jumper. And because teams have to respect Jalen as a downhill driver, he's able to leverage that threat to create space for his pull-ups. On this play, you'll see Brunson get into this right-hand drive, and notice how this defender completely opens up his hips, trying to cut off Jalen's attacking angle. But watch how Brunson is going to come to this 2-foot stop and rise up for a stable jumper. I love this play here, where Jalen's going to float out to his right to then get to this quick right to left between. And again, notice how this defender is primarily focused on cutting off Brunson's driving angle. And watch how Brunson is going to sell the drive by dropping his shoulders to then pop up into this right-left pull-up. This is also a tough move here, where Jalen's going to catch and attack off this handoff, and notice how he skips off his left foot, then replants it to push himself downhill. And when he gets this defender to open up, Jalen's going to slam the brakes and separate for a pull-up. Now what ties all this together from Jalen's driving and pull-up game is going to be his ball handling. Off the bounce, Brunson has a very aggressive and punchy style with the ball, constantly stopping and starting to create attacking angles. Watch him here simply pound the ball with his left and transfer all his weight to his right foot, which shifts this defender out of his frame and sets up a wide open driving lane.
Brunson, great hesitation, blow by.
Now, I also think Brunson has really underrated pace off the bounce. He loves to use these float dribbles, where he builds momentum by skipping up with the ball to then push himself downhill into a drive. And Jalen can also use this to create attacking angles. You'll see him here playing one-on-one at the top of the key, and watch him simply take a dribble and glide out to his left, giving himself a clear lane to attack into. And what also makes this move so effective is that Brunson can link it into pretty much any dribble move. Watch him here float up, then drop back down into an in and out, to then glide back up and drop back down into this double crossover.
Did not allow a dunk.
Brunson, turnaround jumper.
And Brunson's also great at playing with different speeds. This is one of his go-to moves right here, where Jalen brings the ball to his right hand and casually acts like he's going to pull out and reset the offense. And once he feels the defense slightly fall asleep, Jalen's going to push the ball to his left hand and dart into a drive. This is a nice counter off that move, where Jalen again pushes the ball across to his left hand, but now he's going to transfer his weight to his outside foot and flow into a crossover.
Brunson, killer cross. Couldn't get the finish, but a foul.
Now the next thing we have to go over is Brunson's pivot game. If defenders play perfect defense and get Jalen to pick up his dribble, he's got a whole duffel bag of step-throughs and pivots. And these moves are so effective for Jalen because he's always stable and on balance with the ball. Watch him here attack Gordon's top foot going between. Then he's going to initiate contact and turn back over towards the middle. And notice how Brunson lands perfectly on balance, allowing him to lift Gordon up and step through. This is my favorite clip of the entire video, where Jalen's posting up KCP, and watch how Brunson loses him here with two fakes, by first faking the turn over his right shoulder, then putting his eyes up selling the turnaround jumper over his left shoulder.
That was the first round pick, 1967. Brunson and the foul.
Now on top of all those skills, Jalen is also a lethal three-point shooter. But if you want to see me break down that part of Brunson's game, That video is going to be exclusively on my Patreon, where you can get access to all my exclusive breakdowns, including my analysis of Brunson's outside scoring. But regardless, I still appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one. The kid's here.